Forgive yourself for what time will teach. Forgive yourself for enemies disguised as friends. Forgive yourself for what you couldn't see. Acknowledge what you disregarded. Your trials prepared you for greatness. Roots don't grow in public. Strength doesn't announce itself. Preparation is quiet, but it's thorough. Pressure exposes habits. Delay exposes discipline. Silence exposes character. But here's the principle: life doesn't prepare you gently, it prepares you honestly. Welcome to Principles. Forgiveness. Forgiveness for everything that you've been through. Forgiveness for everything that you've been exposed to. Forgiveness for the things that are outside of your control. You may have experienced things as a child that you had no control over, no power to change. Forgive yourself. Because what you didn't know then, you know now. Forgive your parents. They had to live with their circumstances. And some of that bled over onto you. And a lot of times we look at our parents as crazy. Slave drivers, massa, whatever you want to call it. But their frame of reference is totally different than yours. So forgive them for trying to give you the best start that they could without exposing you to the things that they wanted you to avoid. A lot of times we don't, like we think about our parents, we think about our loved ones, our aunts or uncles, and we're caught in this mist of who they are or who they were, and we want them to be different from what we're used to. And the truth is, their life journey from our frame of reference as a child, you don't see it the same. You got to forgive them for being overprotective because they don't want you to see what they've been through. Being overprotective because they don't want you to be exposed to the things that they've been exposed to. A lot of times, forgiveness is hard for a lot of people because we look at it selfishly. We're thinking our parents or aunts or uncle or grandparents, they did these things intentionally to hurt us when it was intentional on their parts to protect us. So you have to forgive them because their frame of reference and what they had to deal with in their time was totally different than what you're dealing with in your time. I remember when I turned 18 and it was time to vote. Nah, scratch that. It wasn't when I turned 18. 2008 election. I, I probably was 20, 19, 20, somewhere in there. And for those that don't know, at that time, that was the presidential election of Barack Obama. And I remember sitting in my grandparents' house because it's all over the news every day. You know, first black president, you know, history in the making. And I remember asking my grandfather, who was in his, I would say, 90s at the time. I asked him who he was voting for. He started mumbling. And my grandmother was sitting there. And she said, Joe, that's your grandson. I didn't understand it at that time. But his frame of reference, they were killed for their votes. His frame of reference, black people didn't talk about who they voted for because you could be killed or lynched or whatever the case is. I just asked, Granddaddy, who you voting for? I didn't assume he was going to vote for Barack Obama because he black. I asked. But he was hesitant in saying that. And just my grandmother saying, Joe, that's your grandson. Not understanding it at the time, but fast forwarding to now, like 15 years later, I didn't understand that dynamic of his era. They didn't talk about who they voted for. For the simple fact, you could be killed or hung or lynched. That was his frame of reference. So I forgive him in that moment because that was his frame of reference. I can't hold him accountable because of his life experiences, his frame of reference into that endeavor. Our parents, we can't hold them accountable for life experiences and their endeavors, right? My daddy, that's a hard dude. You will work. You will learn, but you will work. Your mental capacity as a person will be exhausted beyond what you're accustomed to. Meaning, if it's cold outside, that mental capacity you have or that mental endurance that you have for cold weather is going to be tested. If it's a hot summer day, your mental capacity and how you endure the heat will be tested during that season. When I was younger, I didn't see it for what it was. I saw it so much as punishment. Like, man, it's, where I'm from, it ain't nothing to have a heat index of 105, 110 in the summer. That ain't nothing where I'm from. And then you factor the humidity into it, it's exhausting. My father will test that mental capacity. I didn't like it. But what I can say now is a 40-year-old individual is it prepared me for my journey. Sometimes the cold weather, I'm like, God, man, it's cold. but I still do what need to be done. Or it's hot and I still do what needs to be done. That was preparation. But I didn't see it as such when I was going through the motions. So for that, I forgive him because my frame of reference is different from his frame of reference. I forgive him. If I didn't have those real life experiences, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I wouldn't be able to endure the things that I've endured. Because we all know it. You know, we've all heard the saying that, man, it's hot outside. It's going to be a hot summer. People start acting crazy, doing crazy things. Their temperament is different because of the heat, or their temperament is different because of the cold. I don't fall in that line. I may be sweating my butt off, but I keep my composure. I may be freezing my butt off, but I keep my composure. But again, while I'm going through it, I didn't see it for what it was. I thought it was punishment. I thought this man hate me. Uh, we used to refer to him as Massa, but we didn't see the preparation in it. He was preparing me for manhood the whole time. A lot of things that I had to do, that I didn't want to do, that I had to do, was preparing me. But I didn't see it as such at that time. I saw it as something totally different. I really saw it as, this guy don't like me. This guy hates me. But it actually prepared me for my journey in life and how I'm going to manage, how I'm going to endure. Because as much as we try to protect our children from certain circumstances, there's some things we can't protect them from, and they got to go through it. They got to experience it firsthand. They have to learn from it firsthand. But again, I didn't see it as such. So I forgive him because I harbored feelings in that realm that this was done to me intentionally out of hatred, and it wasn't. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be the man that I am today. I wouldn't have the knowledge that I have today. I wouldn't have learned the skills and trades that I learned today. Preparation. Watching him do certain things or having to do certain things with him prepared me for life as I can prepare my two sons for. I remember times where I had to do certain tasks I didn't necessarily want to do, but I knew what had to be done and how to do it. The greatest lesson of all is being able to see what needs to be done Even if you don't have the skill set to do it, you know how it's supposed to be. I got all of that from him. Some people don't see it as such. Again, for what I felt in that time, in those moments, there's forgiveness on my heart because I learned so many invaluable lessons that if I had to utilize today, I'm capable. Now I understand that that's not everyone's story and everyone don't have that same journey. I understand that your circumstances may be different. I understand that you may not have the skill set. You didn't have that person or that father figure to guide you. So I'm very thankful that I had it. I harbored feelings for a time, but I forgive him. I couldn't see what he was teaching me. I couldn't see those lessons. I couldn't see that he was setting me up to be a better version of him. Even through the downfalls, even through the missteps. A parent that genuinely cares about you, genuinely loves you, wants you to be a better version of them, even if they're not perfect. And no one's perfect. So looking back, I forgive him. Again, as a child, you don't understand what's being taught to you is being intentional for your well-being in the future. You see it for the moment that you're in, not the future that you haven't reached. So I say all of that to say sometimes you have to forgive people for the circumstances or their frame of reference that you endured that you thought was a form of punishment to you because of what y'all was going through at that time. I look back on everything. I've said it in a previous episode where I grew up on a farm. What I learned in those years, even though I don't exercise today, if I had to, I could. I grew up in a community where the community supports you. If you don't have certain skill sets, there's someone that knows someone that knows someone that does. But for the most part, most things that I dealt with in my childhood, I learned from him. You need to put floors down, I learned from him. You need to do some small electrical stuff, some plumbing stuff, I learned from him. Car need brakes, certain mechanical things, I learned from him. And what I didn't learn from him, I learned from watching others. Most of the time it was uncles. HVAC, uncle. Drywall, uncle. Really tearing down and building a motor, uncle. So what he couldn't give me, I got from others. But I couldn't see that as a child. I see that now as a 40-year-old adult. And so many times, because we're going through the motions and the ramifications of life, we're thinking some of this stuff is intentional. It's punishment. It's regret. It's hatred. And it's the furthest thing from it. So I'm happy as I sit here now that I went through all of that. Me saying this is me telling you, forgive yourself. All those feelings, all those emotions, forgive yourself. You ain't happy where you at, forgive yourself. Keep trying, keep pushing, keep hustling, keep striving for better. But forgive yourself because you didn't get there. Forgive yourself because you're on your way. You just don't see the results of your efforts. Forgive yourself. Too many times, too many people harbor these feelings without looking at the whole picture. We harbor those feelings. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Go out there. Keep trying. Keep striving. Keep swinging that bat. If you're familiar with the game of baseball, pitcher throws a pitch. Looks good, you swing. I'm saying keep swinging that bat. Because at some point you're going to get a good lick. You may get a base run. You may get a 2-run. You may get a 3-run. But sometimes you're going to get a home run. And you're able to bring it back full circle. Sometimes you may get that home run and the bases are loaded. Sometimes you may get a 2-run hit. Meaning you bring 2 people home. Keep swinging that bat. Don't give up. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for the circumstances you didn't understand as you was dealing with them. Forgive yourself that you went down this journey, this path, and you became a person that you never saw, and you continue to grow from it. Forgive yourself. A lot of times we do certain things and we're doing them based on the circumstances of we're just getting by. We forgot the fact that we've been that person. We forgot the fact that we had those aspirations. But we've been that person. Now everything's coming full circle to fruition, and we're that person. All your trials, all your tests, all your tribulations. You always been that person. You always been that guy. You always been that woman. People slept on you. People discounted you, disregarded you. You ain't who you say you are, but you always been that person. Forgive yourself for having the thoughts that you wasn't that person. Forgive yourself for your thoughts that you wasn't it. Keep pushing. Keep striving. Because you've been him. You've been her. You judging your life based upon the circumstances that you had to endure, that you had no choice in the matter of, that you had no control over. But you've been that person. Your frame of reference is different than most people because you've been that person. You've been aligned with people that, whether you saw it or not, was about your growth. You've been aligned with people, whether you saw it or not, that was about you being able to have certain skill sets, being able to learn certain things, being able to do certain things, being able to push through when it's 100 plus degrees, being able to push through when it's -1. But you didn't see it. They saw it. You didn't understand it. It was preparing you. So for the things that you didn't understand at the time that you were going through them, forgive yourself. Forgive those around you. Because there's going to be a day that you wake up and you see that these people around you had your best benefit at heart. You just couldn't see it. And it ain't up to them to sit there and tell you exactly why you're enduring what you're enduring. It's preparation. So forgive your parents for what you couldn't see. Forgive your loved ones for what you couldn't see. Forgive your coworkers for what you couldn't see. Because once you go through the motions, you see. And whether you wear glasses or not, your vision is 20/20. You set up good. You set up nice. All of that preparation, you will never recognize until you're faced with a situation where it comes to account. And I mean that wholeheartedly. I really do. For the simple fact that everything that I ever thought about, that I ever went through, I had a frame of reference for that I didn't recognize. I saw it, but I didn't recognize. That's the crazy thing about life. We all go through something, been through something, still going through something. Not realizing that years pass, all that preparation is right there in our face, right there in our lap. And we're able to progress and achieve and succeed because we were prepared. Now, I understand that that's not everyone's story. I understand that everyone didn't have those levels of encounters and alignments with people that got their best benefit at heart and couldn't tell them or communicate why They did what they did, and you had to figure it out in your latter years. But too many times we hold people accountable to things that's not really their responsibility. We learn from people. We do. Look around. Think about everything you ever done in life, everything you ever experienced in life. What did you learn? Who did you learn it from? How did you grow past it? What are the things that you've encountered that you say to yourself, that you said to yourself, I want to avoid? I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to live that life. I want this life. Those people closest to you that you couldn't see how they were setting you up. And you harbor these feelings towards them and these emotions towards them, forgive them. Because they were setting you up. You just couldn't see it. You couldn't see that along the lines, the setup, the position, you were blinded to it. But once some time passes, you see, I was set up. Good. I learned a lot. There's a benefit here. You got to open your eyes to it. So the message today, forgive everyone. Forgive them all. Because once you realize what they were doing and why they did it, you'll see how it really has a true impact on your life today. You might not be happy with your circumstances. You may not be happy with how you live and this and that, but you were prepared. And I understand that everyone didn't have great parents, great father figure, great mother figure. I understand that. And for those that didn't, I encourage you to continue to listen to the Principles Podcast. I talk about my life, my upbringing, my life experiences. And I would hope that you get something from it. Because I understand my situation is unique. I grew up with both parents in the home. I grew up having a father that wanted the best for me. I couldn't see it at the time. Wanted the best for me, while also teaching me, showing me how to be productive in certain circumstances, how to be productive when all odds against me, having a skill set to save $1 because I know how to do the work. And a lot of us, we have that, or we lack that mentality of doing the work. It's easy to call somebody if you got the bread to do a job. It's harder to buckle down and do the work when you got the skill set. It's all in your mind. But I was prepared because when that blistering summer sun is over me, Am I going to do the work? Or am I going to outsource? When that cold winter weather is over me, am I going to do the work or outsource? Forget the people around you. Forget the people that you love. Forgive the people that you care about. Do your best to understand their frame of reference as to why they react the way that they react. Think about that. You trying to achieve, do better. You got all the skill sets, but you disregarding them. You trying to achieve and do better, but you're not cognizant to your surroundings. Forgive people for their frame of reference. Because what you saw and endured came from their frame of reference, which prep you for today. That's the message. That's the message. As I stated in the intro, forgive people. Forgive them. Forgive yourself for what time will teach. Forgive yourself for enemies disguised as friends. Forgive yourself for what you couldn't see. Acknowledge what you disregarded. Your trials prepared you for greatness. Roots don't grow in public. Strength doesn't announce itself. Preparation is quiet, but it's thorough. Pressure exposes habits. Delay exposes discipline. Silence exposes character. But here's the principle. Life doesn't prepare you gently. It prepares you honestly. And let's be honest, life has prepared you. Principles.